part of the tent service, and you want to bring a chair, we encourage you to bring, a cheap folding chair, one that you won't mind if it breaks or goes missing. We have a lot of chairs, and we do bring those, but it's certainly certainly you're welcome to bring those chairs. That two-city block thing is kind of we think it's kind of a check and balance a little bit on if you can't carry it 2 city blocks, then you're probably bringing too much stuff. So it's kind of a self-limiting type of thing. So on to things to pack. A tent, if you're not on our tent service, sleeping pad, a sleeping bag of some sort. Obviously, if it's super hot, you don't need to bring a 10-degree bag, down bag. At least 3 pairs of shorts and jerseys. You want to rotate those things. Some non-riding clothes, once again, chairs, and your nutritionals. So I might speak just a little bit to the whole nutritional thing. This year I did pre-ride again, and it's a fantastic route. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's very, very scenic. Even up in northwest Iowa, there's some fantastic vistas. Northern Iowa is blessed with greater infrastructure than a lot of southern Iowa, and so there's really not going to be a shortage of places to stop. At least I don't see that being a problem. Most all of the towns that we've talked to on pre-ride, they've got lots of stuff going on. There's churches and VFWs and bars, and it's going to be a very, very typical rag ride. So you won't have to rely quite as heavily on the nutritionals as maybe last year. Things not to pack. Computers. If you bring a computer, you probably better put it in its special bag or what have you. Obviously something breakable. The bags do get, they get moved in and out of the truck, and the guys try to do it in a timely fashion, and they're not mishandling it, but it's not something that you probably necessarily want.
The big thing is that your bag may be close to the bottom of the pile in the truck, and there's just a lot of other things on top of it, and so it's not that we're throwing your bags around, it's that there's just a lot of weight potentially on top of them.
Kyle's being a little bit of a smart aleck on the spare inner tubes thing, because I think I changed 18 flat tires on the first day of pre-ride for folks. So I don't know if that was a bad omen or just unlucky or whatever. There were, I think, 3 flats at the railroad crossing in Alton, which is only like 3 miles outside of town. So you do want to have a couple of spare inner tubes. If you got any questions on what to pack or how to pack, just shoot us an email or a question here, and we'd be glad to help out. So you can move to the next screen.
Nicole did say that she always brings a book to read during Rag Riot, and that was one of the things in her day pack.
I do too. I know. That's a nice thing. If you're sitting around camp, it'd be fun to have a book. So yeah, if you have any questions, obviously type those in there. So flying into Des Moines, we do offer airport pickup in Des Moines. We like you to fly in on the Friday before. If you get here on Thursday before, that's fine. We ask you not to fly in on Saturday. You're not going to make it onto the bus. But if you choose airport pickup on our Eventbrite website, we will make arrangements to match your itinerary and pick you up and bring you back to Grinnell for the hotels, any of the hotels or bed and breakfasts that we have in town. You can find out more information about that at the website that you see there. It's on our website, bikesu.com, and it includes a list of those. Like I said, please arrive on Friday if you can. So in Grinnell on Friday, we're going to have the check-in as normal, open until 8 p.m. We do pack the bikes on the semi-tractor trailer. You may drop your bags at the bike shop. Those bags are going to go on the charter bus, and we would, certainly appreciate in the morning you grabbing your bags and putting them on the bus. But if you're staying in Grinnell and you just don't need part of your luggage at your hotel or whatever, you sure may drop those there. Getting the bikes on Friday night is really handy because we can get those packed up and safe. On Saturday morning this year, it's going to be an early check-in. We got a long way to go. It's Orange City's way the heck up there, but check-in starts 5:45 to 6:45 a.m. You need to park a car. Same kind of drill. Cooper School parking lot over on the campus. We'd like you to do that by 6:15. We'll have a shuttle. It is a secure location in that the college does run the security past it. Obviously, there's not a chain link fence around it or anything like that. We have a link to a map that will be included in the itinerary email that tells you how to get there. It's just about 2.5 blocks away from the bike shop. The buses will leave at 7 a.m. On Saturday, and what we're thinking is, let me click to that next screen. On the bus, that's all right. On the bus transportation, we're probably going to take a pretty good break since it's almost a 5-hour trip up there or so. We'll stop somewhere and take a break for people to stretch their legs, grab a short stop bite to eat of some sort, and get going on. We really want you to get to Orange City in time to take in the expo, and by getting there by noon or 12:30, 1 o'clock at the latest, I guess it'll be 1 o'clock. Hopefully we will avoid the rush on that. The bikes will go on our semi-trailer to Orange City from Grinnell, and they will come back on the semi-trailer from Lansing to Grinnell. During the week, that semi handles all of your baggage. Several years ago, we switched to packing blankets as opposed to tearing the bikes apart and putting cardboard in between them. And the packing blankets have proved significantly safer. I don't believe we've really had any serious damage with the packing blankets. If you wish to use pipe insulation foam on your bicycle tubes, you will not offend me by doing that. I respect that. You're welcome to do that, and it's your own time. But we take good care to pack those bikes to the best of our abilities. I don't want anybody's bike to get damaged or scratched. So we're going to let Kyle start with this one.
Yeah, so those of you who bought credentials through the Grinnell Bike Club, those will be delivered to Grinnell hopefully in the next week or so, and then we'll have those sitting out, have somebody add a box with all of them out front of the bike shop on the morning that we load up. A lot of people do like to pick them up on Friday when they arrive, and that's totally fine. Just find one of our staff and we can get you those credentials. You will load your bags on the charter bus that you ride. Reason we ask that is that if you put your bag on there, you know it's there. So please put your bag on your bus that you get on. If we run out of room under the bus, we will have extra room on the baggage or on the semi truck, and so any bags that can't fit on the bus will go on the semi. We will have a staff member or volunteer that will be checking people in as you get on the bus. So you will walk up. You can put your bag on underneath of the bus. Get your bike on the semi truck if you haven't dropped it off the day before, and then as you get on the bus, somebody will have a check-in and they'll check you off the list.
Now, remember that once we check you off the list, we're kind of counting you as being on the bus. So if you get off of the bus for coffee or some other reason after you've been checked in, please communicate that to the person standing at the doorway of the bus, because we don't want to leave anybody angry now. That would be no fun. If you have any questions about how we're getting to Orange City, feel free to type those in. We'll try to answer any of those questions. Okay, during the week riding, all bags that are left out at nightfall at the end of the baggage truck will be loaded onto the front of the truck and not unloaded the following day. So the kind of the life lesson here is, if you need something out of one of those bags for the next day, please do not leave it at the end of the truck, because it's going to get buried quickly in the next morning. Those unneeded bags will be loaded, like I said, onto the truck the night before. In the morning, please place your bags on the back of the truck. This is just goes back to the era of when we seem to lose a lot of people's bags. We don't do that anymore because of the size of our operation, but put your bag on the back of the truck, and one of the young people or one of the people working will make sure that they advance it forward. Water will be available in the morning. Charging stations, sports drinks, and alcohol will not be available. That stuff will get packed up late the night before and kind of put away. But there will be water to fill water bottles the next morning. The semi truck with our baggage truck will leave at 7:30 a.m. Pretty promptly. So you need to have your bags on that truck by 7:30 in order for them to be in the next town. And then obviously you take off and ride to the next town, and the bags will be at our campsite the next time, the next afternoon. During the day, drink plenty of water. Take your time. Safety, ride right, is super important to communicate with riders around you. The first day is always filled with jitters and folks, trying to kind of find their way. But communicating with riders, if you're getting onto the route, saying rider on your left if you're passing, slowing, stopping, communicate all of those things. People, and a lot of times, I always say this, a lot of times people are apprehensive about saying something like that. And you don't have to do it in a tone that is mean or condescending or anything like that, but just yelling it out is appreciated by other cyclists so that they know where you're at. If you're new to RAGBRAI, you're going to hear on your left a lot. On your left does not mean move left. On your left means somebody is passing you on your left. And there's been many accidents happen by somebody saying on your left and then the rider moving to your left. So one of the things that I found that is really helpful in riding in a group, this is a sales pitch for some accessories, and obviously we sell them, but you can buy them before you get here too, is the Sprint Tech mirrors that go in your handlebar. They make both a left and a right mirror, and excuse me, and that right hand mirror, even though it seems kind of silly, is actually quite useful in a large group of riding with people. So having some sort of mirrors available, to do that kind of thing is good. Obviously, I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of good pie going to be out there this year. I didn't average 2 a day, but I could have. Severe weather. So ever since, what's it been, Sheldon, probably 10, 12 years ago, we had a real problem with severe weather. We make it our business to watch what the warnings and what the watches are for the area, that we're camped in. And we try to communicate that as clearly as we can. If the town has an evacuation or an emergency shelter procedure, we make it our business to know where that is at. Not every town does prepare that, but if they do, we'll have that information. And when I say will, Kyle has that information to disseminate amongst you folks. As adults, if the sheriff comes through on a four-wheeler and says, severe weather is ahead, take cover, you get to make that decision nowadays as to whether if you go to shelter or not. But we want you to strongly consider going to shelter. I can tell you from experience, an entire family does not hold a large tent down in a horrible thunderstorm. So it's take cover time.
Also, when you're out on the ride, we get a lot of questions about what do I do if severe weather comes in while I'm out on the route. Honestly, go find the nearest farm, go and knock on the front door. They will probably invite you in or find a place for you to get out of the weather. They will probably feed you. And if you're there long enough, you'll end up on their Christmas card list.
Yeah. And obviously a ditch is, in a tornado or something, for those of you not from Iowa, lightning, tornado, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, hit that ditch and put your hands over your head and lay flat. We don't want to scare anybody, but, there is a reason that this is still called one of the last great adventures in the United States, and that's because we are at the mercy of Mother Nature all week long. So take your time out there. We said that before. Know that we got a campsite already picked out for you. Kyle's been to every one of these towns, has looked at our spots. We think that we have quality campsites. We will be mailing out emailing out the maps of the campsites in July. You'll be able to get an electronic version of that, as well as download those and print them off. Couple of things. I don't know. I don't want to spoil the surprise. One of the things that we're going to do this year is we've stepped it up. We're going to have porta potties delivered to our campsite every day. There will be at least 3.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, 3 porta potties in our campsite for just our charter use. So the goal is that we don't have to rely so much on the infrastructure of others, that we're kind of carrying our own weight.
So once you get to town, you will start to see these signs. They say BTU and there's an arrow. Those will begin at the beginning of the town. Please do not look for them 5 miles away. Some groups do camp outside of town, and so you may see those. When in doubt, keep following the rider route. Again, they look like they have the BTU. They do not say BBC. That's Bob Bransel Charter, I think, is the name of that one. People seem to get that confused every year, but BTU is the sign that you should follow. I try to post these every block or two so that you know that you're continuing to head in the right direction. If you don't see these signs and you've been seeing them, you probably need to turn around and go back to the route that you saw them last. Sometimes the corners get confusing, especially if there's a lot of different charters turning in different directions. Sometimes it's hard to see where things are, and especially if you're in a big group of people, and there may be some traffic people saying you need to go to the right or something, and I may have signs pointing to the left or saying go straight. So please be aware. Just try and follow them. I try to put multiple signs on corners.
And not to confuse you, but a couple of times this year, we are going to be close to the BBC charter. So there may be a scenario where the Bikes to You and the BBC signs are the sole signs that you're seeing. But that's only by coincidence this year that we're right next to Bransell for a couple of nights, and they're good folks, so we can get along. I think the sign situation has been a lot better the last few years because Kyle does a fantastic job of signing, and because, quite honestly, you get the information ahead of time to kind of know, where we're going to be. And I don't know, Kyle, do you want to elaborate a little bit on campsites of are we close? Are we far away? What's your?
Most of them we are pretty darn close. There's going to be a number of, Cresco, I think we're like 3 blocks away from the downtown area, and that one's going to be really nice.
Spencer, I know we're right across from the fairgrounds.
Yep, Spencer, we're super close. There's a couple of other towns where we're like right next to schools, so we are going to have some services. We'll be a little bit further away from the main action, but in general, again, we've got, I think there's only one town two that we're in a giant field. Everything else is pretty shaded, fairly flat, so it's going to be pretty good.
And just so you know, we try to get a mix of campsites because if we did everything the same every time, that would get awfully boring. There may be a night where you hear the band pretty good, and there may be a night where you're too far away from the entertainment to really hear it. So, the idea is to kind of mix it up and make sure you guys get a great experience, to the best that we can. So new for this year, I guess I get this page because I'm writing a check. We're going to do a shower trailer, and this is big for us. As a matter of fact, I've been losing sleep over it for about the last month and a half. The shell of said shower trailer is supposed to be here tomorrow night at about 10:30. I expected it several weeks ago, but they finally have come through and delivered it. We'll have 8 showers. We have there'll be 3 hand washing sinks in the back, and then there'll be an outdoor spigot for some quick rinsing of stuff if we need to. The way we're doing the shower trailer is different than a lot of the other ones that are out there. And what we're doing is we're going to do a self-contained 1,500-gallon tank. We've almost always, we've been under 150 people. And what that translates into is each of you get about 10 gallons of water a day. So keep that in mind as you're washing your hands, brushing your teeth, taking a shower. We have yet to figure out a way to restrict water usage. So this first year, we're kind of on the beta test. But the reason we chose to do a self-contained 1,500-gallon freshwater, 1,500-gallon wastewater is because we can still get into some smaller campsites. Most of these towns don't have the infrastructure. Our good friends at Pork Belly, we've been near them a lot. They're good folks. But their shower facilities, they have to have a freshwater source and a sewer source for whenever they spot their shower trailer. And we just didn't want to have that kind of restriction for our charter because we didn't want to change the way we do things. So this first year, I ask you to kind of conserve water when you take a shower. We're gonna stay up late the next few weeks and try to get this thing built. And we didn't charge any, so to speak, any extra for the shower trailer. I think at the end of the week, we're going to pass a bucket, and you just pay whatever you think it was worth to have those showers there. And if you had 7 cold showers, then you can throw in $1.50. But it's this first year, it really is just to see if we can make this concept work. One thing I do want to tell you is bring a couple of towels, so that you can alternate towels and hang them up to dry, because we won't have towel service with our shower trailer. Bring a couple of towels with you so that you can do that. The way we've got it figured, and we're neither one civic engineers, but that at 8 showers should shower 150 people easily over the course of 4 hours.
Yep.
And that's kind of our goal. And with the way people come in at different times, we're pretty sure that will all work out. We will move part of the shower trailer the evening before, so at some point in the evening after, I don't know that we hit a shutdown time, but I'm going to say 8 o'clock or something along those lines, we'll have that shower trailer shut down, and part of it will be packed up to go to the next town. If you have any questions about that, let me know. If you've got any spare time, you want to help put it together, you can drive to Grinnell. We'll be working on it. So anyway, enough of that. If you have any questions about what your day looks like or how things go, feel free to type them in. We'll do the best we can to answer that.
Andrea made a comment saying that it's a good idea to print out the maps before you get to Grinnell or to the ride, just so that you have those printed off. You also are going to be able to download those to your phone and be able to look at them there.
Silly big city folks, your cell phones are of almost no value on RAGBRAI.
Download it before you get here.
Yeah, we overload those cell towers almost immediately. Okay, go ahead, Kyle. You can have that one.
Oh, we did have one other question that said, what is the coffee situation? The coffee situation is there is always, I don't think I've heard of a day that somebody didn't have a coffee station set up right outside of town. Get ready in the morning, hop on your bike, and you will probably see one within 1.5 miles of our campsite.
And I will comment on that. We've talked about coffee in the morning. This year is a big year for us because we're adding the shower trailer, and actually one of the other things that we will have is that the word's not refining. What do you call it?
We're filtering water.
We're filtering our own water. We'll have a filter system on the shower trailer that will filter water for us for drinking purposes. And it's between that and then I don't know, you folks, the RAGBRAI and Style folks we've actually switched that from a hotel to what's called a bunkhouse. We built a 7-room bunkhouse with the house is 14 people on a semi-tractor trailer, and that will be in our campground every night. We are no longer doing the hotel charter. There were no hotels to be had this year, so it kind of forced our hand on the RAGBRAI and Style. So we'll have we actually will have we've ramped up a couple of things. Long story short, coffee is probably in our future, but not this year. We didn't get it accomplished. So.
Yep. So getting home, if you're leaving before Lansing, please make sure you let me know. That way I have an accurate count of riders who are going home. I'm going to check you off the list. Otherwise, if you don't tell me, I'm going to be calling you when we're in Lansing going, where are you? Why are you not on the bus yet? So please make sure that you let me know. We will put up signage after the dip site. So if you are, please do not look for signs before you get to the dip location. If you get to the dip location and say, I don't want to do that, I don't want to wait in that giant line, turn around. You'll start seeing the signs. But you do need to ride to the dip site. The semis and the buses will be there. Whoops, left Muscatine on that page instead of putting Lansing. Missed one on this one. So the charter buses will leave Lansing at 3 p.m., not Muscatine. And we will send buses home separately after once they are full, depending on weather and riding conditions. That first bus leaves. It's dependent on how many people get in. But we'll try to get that one home as quick as possible. But the semi does not leave until 3. So even if you're on the early bus, you might leave at 1:30 and get home an hour and a half before the semi, but your bike still isn't getting home yet.
And that's a bit of a typo, because the semi bus may not actually leave until well after 3, because we have stuff to load up. I do want to talk a little bit about the end day. Obviously I've ridden the entire route. It's a fun, great route. But I don't want to scare anybody, but this last day is going to be a tough one. There are 4 very, very large, long, tough climbs. And a few other hills to go in there. Harper's Ferry is right in the middle of it's in the middle of the 4 and 2 of them. So unless you got a relative that wants to come pick you up in Harper's Ferry, don't. That's going to be a fun town, by the way. They've got a lot planned. They're right on the river too. It really is going to be a fun town. But you got to remember, you got 2 more big climbs to get from Harper's Ferry to Lansing. Kind of the thing that I talked with Kyle about is that that last day is, I want to say 65 miles, 62, 65 miles, and some pretty tough sledding. And so we're not going to be rolling out of Lansing at any 1:30, 2 o'clock with that first bus. I'm sure it'll be later. And if we would have, super hot weather or inclement rain or something like that, it could go later than that. So be prepared to be flexible, and just remember that last day, TJ is getting darn good at making folks feel like they've really accomplished something at the end of Bragg Ride, because having that last day be tough. When you finally finish up, you feel like $1 million, and it was a real challenge. And I don't know, there's lots of great things in store for this year's ride. Decorah is having their, what's it called?
Nordic Fest.
Oh, I was going to say Ludic Fest. Nordic Fest. They're firing on all cylinders to do that. Charles City is there's a ton of fun stuff going on. Their downtown is really cool. Clear Lake's going to be a blast. It just seems like it's going to be a great year. It's always a treat to be at the Clay County Fairgrounds in Spencer. That's next to the state fair, being the kind of the biggest fair around. So lots of fun stuff on the ride this year. I should speak about the gravel. Don't do it. I've always been a gravel proponent. This year's gravel loop is just darn tough, and unless you have a 29er or a fat bike, I'm going to say you should probably let this one go. But that's everybody just choose their own. I know they're going to have some what do you call it, loaner bikes on the gravel loop. So if you want to do it, I think you can get a loaner bike out there. So Kyle, I guess I'll get back to you.
All right. So for those of you who are flying out at the end of the ride, we will do an airport shuttle to Des Moines. Please do not fly out on Saturday. Like Craig said, that last day is going to be tough. I used to live up in that area, and anytime you ride up a bluff, it's a tough ride. And so please do not fly out Saturday, because we don't want you to miss that flight because you get into town late, or we're not able to let the bus leave early enough. So please make sure that you fly out on Sunday. We will do a shuttle to Des Moines Saturday night. If you are on a flight that is 8 a.m. or earlier on Sunday, please make sure that you're on that shuttle, or that you let me know that you need to be on that shuttle. We're all going to be tired at the end of the week, and I don't want to have to get up and do a shuttle at 4:30 in the morning.
And we don't want you to miss a flight. You know, it can be a real challenge to get somebody to the airport at 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. So we can get you there Saturday night to stay in Des Moines and you can get a hotel at a place that has a free airport shuttle. That's really kind of the easiest way to do that. We do we'll match your itineraries all day Sunday. After 8 o'clock, we'll do our best to get you to the airport on time. If you got any questions, contact him. Actually, I'm available by email too at craig@bikestu.com. But truthfully, Kyle is the keeper of the spreadsheet. He knows who's got the rental bikes, who has the flight itinerary times. He keeps all of that. We want to please you folks. So if you have a special need or special accommodation, we certainly try to do that. We didn't talk about, for new folks, you kind of taken to doing a grocery.
Yeah. So I do a grocery store run every morning. Every day we're going to have a grocery list that's posted. If you want something from the grocery store, most of the time that's beer. But some people order bananas or milk or something like that. Write that down on a list. You give me money for that, and then I go to the grocery store sometime in the morning and have everything at the campsite for you when you get there. If you are getting something like milk, please only order what you're going to drink that day, because we don't want to have things sitting in the cooler. I mean, if that cooler runs out of ice, we don't want to have your milk get spoiled.
Well, and we also don't want to be the initial strain of a foodborne illness on RAGBRAI.
Yep.
3 porta potties will not be enough.
Yeah.
So don't put perishables in the coolers more than what you can consume in a day. Yeah.
So, but yeah, this has been a popular service for us. I think it's one of the things that really differentiates our service over a lot of other ones, is that we do have that personal touch of, you can come up to me, and I've had people say, Kyle, my air mattress went dead. Can you go find me an air mattress? And sometimes it's a difficult thing, because when you're in a place like Cresco, Iowa, there's not a whole heck of a lot of options. But I usually am able to find pretty much whatever people are looking for.
Just know that we can accommodate special needs like that. If you have any other questions, please type them in. I was going to say to you,
we've covered everything.
Like I said, feel free to type any questions. We're going to hang out here and just.
Should we bring a bike lock?
Somebody just asked if they should bring a bike lock, and here's my thought on that. You're welcome to bring a bike lock to lock your bike up at night. You can bring a bike lock for the whole day if you want. I think it's unnecessary. Bring a bike lock if you want to lock up at night, lock to the closest tree or to the two bikes together or what have you, just to make it so that, if somebody was stumbling through camp and, wanted to take a bike for a joyride or whatever, I'm not gonna tell you not to do that. But honestly, if your bike gets stolen on RAGBRAI, probably need to go to church more often. it's pretty low. It's a pretty low risk situation.
My best friend's dad rides RAGBRAI most years, and he brings a $15,000 bicycle, and he's never locked it once. I mean, it
just doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
So if I steal a couple bikes, can you guys ship them back for me or no?
If you was the question.
I'm just kidding.
A couple of bikes.
I was just kidding.
Oh, if you steal a couple of bikes, right. There you go. Very good. I get that. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for the Bikes to You RAGBRAI charter. Don't hesitate to email or call with any questions. Like I said, we want to help folks out the best that we can. We're looking forward to another great year. We're kind of excited to add these new amenities and see how those things all work out. And it's going to be another good one. So thank you for joining us. Good night.